One of the most fascinating aspects of Kyber crystals is their ability to change color based on their wielder's connection to the Force. When first discovered, Kyber crystals are colorless, waiting for a Force-sensitive individual to bond with them. Once a Jedi or Sith attunes to a crystal, it takes on a specific hue that reflects their personality, beliefs, and alignment within the Force. The color of a Kyber crystal is not simply a cosmetic feature. It is a direct expression of the user's connection to the Force. The most common lightsaber colors in Jedi history were blue and green. Blue lightsabers were primarily wielded by Jedi Guardians, warriors who focused on lightsaber combat and physical mastery of the Force. Some of the most famous Jedi to wield blue lightsabers included Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Plo Koon. Green lightsabers were typically used by Jedi counselors who emphasized wisdom, diplomacy, and deeper spiritual connection to the Force. Yoda, Luke Skywalker, and Qui-Gon Jinn all wielded green lightsabers, reflecting their focus on the philosophical aspects of being a Jedi. While blue and green were the most prevalent, other colors existed among the Jedi, each with its own meaning. Yellow lightsabers were most often associated with Jedi Temple Guards, who acted as the silent defenders of the Jedi Order. Their use of yellow blades symbolized their neutrality, as they were sworn to protect the Jedi Temple rather than pursue personal missions. Later, Rey would wield a yellow lightsaber, signifying her role as a new kind of Jedi, distinct from both the Old Order and the teachings of the Sith. One of the rarest and most intriguing colors in Jedi history was purple, most famously wielded by Mace Windu. Unlike other Jedi who were strictly devoted to the light side, Mace Windu practiced a unique form of lightsaber combat called Vapad, which channeled elements of the dark side without fully succumbing to them. His purple blade symbolized this balance, neither fully light nor dark, but existing on the edge of both. Sith lightsabers, in contrast, were almost always red. This was not a natural color, but the result of the bleeding process, in which a Sith would corrupt a Kyber crystal by pouring their anger, hatred, and dark side energy into it. The crystal, overwhelmed by pain and suffering, would turn crimson, marking it as a Sith weapon. Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and Kylo Ren all wielded red lightsabers, their color representing their complete submission to the dark side. Kylo Ren's lightsaber was unique in that it produced an unstable, flickering red blade. This was due to his Kyber crystal being cracked during the bleeding process, resulting in an energy imbalance. To compensate, Kylo added crossguard vents to his weapon, allowing excess energy to escape. This gave his lightsaber its distinctive fiery appearance, making it one of the most unstable blades in Sith history. A particularly rare and mysterious lightsaber color was white, seen only in Ahsoka Tano's twin blades. These were originally red Sith Kyber crystals that Ahsoka purified through deep meditation, removing the corruption and restoring them to a neutral state. White lightsabers symbolized neither the Jedi nor the Sith, but a path outside of their traditional teachings. Ahsoka's use of white lightsabers reflected her identity as a Force user who had abandoned the Jedi Order but still fought for the light. Another legendary lightsaber was the black-bladed Darksaber, an ancient weapon crafted by Tari Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi. Unlike other lightsabers, the Darksaber's blade absorbed light rather than emitting it, giving it a uniquely ominous presence. The weapon became a symbol of leadership among Mandalorians, passed down through warriors who claimed it in battle. Though it was originally forged by a Jedi, the Darksaber spent much of its history in the hands of Mandalorians, Sith, and bounty hunters. In Star Wars Legends, additional lightsaber colors existed, each with its own meaning. Orange lightsabers were used by Jedi who sought knowledge and creativity in their connection to the Force. Cyan and magenta blades appeared among Force users who blended multiple lightsaber combat styles. Some rare Force-sensitive individuals were even believed to have silver lightsabers, said to be connected to the purest form of the light side. Some Jedi and Sith also experimented with dual-phase lightsabers, which allowed them to shift the length of their blade mid-combat. These weapons often contained multiple Kyber crystals, allowing the user to change colors or enhance their saber's power output. The existence of so many different colors reinforces the idea that Kyber crystals are not just static materials, but living entities that respond to their wielder's presence in the Force. For Jedi, their blade color was a reflection of their personal journey, while for the Sith, the red glow of their lightsaber was a symbol of their domination over the Force itself. Behind the scenes, the real-world origins of Kyber crystals. The concept of Kyber crystals has evolved significantly since the earliest days of Star Wars, growing from a vague idea into one of the most essential elements of the saga's mythology. Though Kyber crystals are now deeply ingrained in Star Wars lore, they did not always exist in their current form. Their history in both behind-the-scenes development and in-universe storytelling reflects the way Star Wars itself has changed over the decades. In George Lucas's early drafts of Star Wars, there was no mention of Kyber crystals as we know them today. Instead, Lucas introduced a mystical artifact called the Kyber Crystal, a legendary relic that amplified a Jedi's power in the Force. The Kyber Crystal was not used to power lightsabers, but instead acted as a Force-enhancing tool, capable of healing injuries and increasing a Jedi's strength. This concept appeared in Splinter of the Mind's Eye, one of the earliest Star Wars novels written by Alan Dean Foster in 1978. In the story, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia searched for the Kyber Crystal, pursued by Darth Vader, who sought to claim its power for himself. While this version of the crystal never became a major part of the films, the idea of a Force-sensitive crystal planted the seeds for what would eventually become Kyber Crystal. As Star Wars expanded into Legends material during the 1990s and early 2000s, the idea of lightsaber crystals began to take shape. In various expanded universe novels, comics, and role-playing games, different types of crystals were introduced as the components of lightsabers. However, the crystals used in these stories were not exclusively Kyber crystals. They were often simple Adegan crystals or rare minerals found throughout the galaxy. These early stories laid the groundwork for the idea that a Jedi must seek out a special crystal to craft their lightsaber, but there was no singular living crystal concept yet. It wasn't until Star Wars: The Clone Wars that Kyber crystals were fully canonized as the heart of every lightsaber. Showrunner Dave Filoni, along with Lucas himself, introduced the Ilum ritual known as the Gathering, where Jedi younglings traveled to frozen caves to retrieve their Kyber crystals. This officially established that lightsabers were powered exclusively by Kyber crystals, bringing the concept into mainstream Star Wars continuity. With Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Kyber crystals became even more central to Star Wars lore. The film expanded on the idea that these crystals were not only used in lightsabers, but also served as the key to the Death Star's superweapon. This explanation helped connect the Jedi and the Sith's long-standing battle over Kyber crystals to the larger galactic conflict, reinforcing their significance beyond just lightsabers. The term Kyber crystal itself was likely inspired by the original Kyber crystal from early Star Wars drafts, though its function was entirely different. The name resurfaced in the Clone Wars and became fully established in Star Wars canon, replacing the older, more general terms used in Legends. As Star Wars continues to expand with new films, shows, and games, Kyber crystals remain one of the most mysterious and fascinating elements of the franchise. Their evolution from a mystical relic to a defining part of Jedi and Sith history shows how Star Wars has grown, blending old ideas with new storytelling to create a rich and ever-expanding mythology. In conclusion, Kyber crystals are far more than just the power source for lightsabers. They are deeply connected to the Force itself, serving as living conduits that resonate with those who wield them. From the earliest days of the Jedi Order, Kyber crystals were seen as sacred relics, choosing their Jedi through a process of attunement rather than simple acquisition. Each crystal carried with it a unique bond to its wielder, reflecting their connection to the light side of the Force. For the Sith, Kyber crystals were an obstacle to be conquered. Because the crystals naturally resisted the dark side, Sith were forced to corrupt them through an agonizing process known as bleeding, pouring their rage, hatred, and anger into the crystal until it was twisted into submission. This process forever altered the crystal's nature, turning it into the iconic crimson blade of the Sith. Beyond their role in lightsabers, Kyber crystals were at the center of some of the greatest conflicts in galactic history. Entire wars were fought over their control, as both Jedi and Sith sought to either protect or exploit their power. The Sith dreamed of using Kyber crystals to fuel devastating superweapons, and with the rise of the Empire, this dream became a terrifying reality. The Death Star, the greatest technological terror in galactic history, was powered by Kyber crystals, harnessing their raw energy to destroy entire planets. The Rebellion, the New Republic, and the Resistance all fought to prevent Kyber crystals from being weaponized again, but their struggle was never easy. Even after the fall of the Empire, the First Order continued this dark legacy, transforming Ilum into Starkiller Base and using Kyber crystals to unleash destruction on an even greater scale. Throughout history, Kyber crystals have been a symbol of both creation and destruction, of peace and war. They are among the most powerful mysteries of the Force, capable of responding to the emotions and intentions of those who wield them. Their ability to change color, to be corrupted, to be healed, and even to whisper through the Force suggests that they are more than just stones. They are a fundamental part of the galaxy's balance. From the first Jedi to the final battles of the Skywalker saga, Kyber crystals have remained at the heart of Star Wars lore. Their story is one of war, sacrifice, and renewal, a reminder that no power in the galaxy is inherently good or evil. It is only the hands that wield it that decide its fate.